How you doing? This is Joe Hines, your average Joe, and I want to talk to you about the news this week. This is 15 December 2019. I guess you could say the top news this week was that the House of Representatives Judiciary Committee voted to approve two articles of impeachment against the president. One is abuse of power, and the other is obstruction of Congress. Abuse of power is a non-specific term that says the president's doing something that Congress doesn't like. Not necessarily violating the law, just something that Congress doesn't think is right. Obstruction of Congress, not a crime, happens all the time. That's where the president refuses to do what Congress says the president should do. In other words, it's a conflict between the two branches. Now, there's a proper way to settle that. The Congress goes to the court and asks the court to decide if the executive branch, if the president's allowed to evoke executive privilege. Democrats didn't want to wait for that. Therefore, they have this other term, obstruction of Congress. Second thing in the news, you'd think that that would be bad news for President Trump. On the contrary, President Trump's having a great week. He just announced a possible phase one trade deal with China. Well, it says it's in the books. It's for certain. Let me go ahead and quote it. CNBC article says U.S. Trade Representative says phase one trade deal is totally done and will double exports to China in 2 years. Basically, the Chinese have agreed to curb their intellectual property theft and buy billions of dollars of agricultural products from the United States. That's a win for us. Okay? And you can spell that U.S. In other news, the IG report came out on FISA abuse. IG Inspector General Horowitz released his report saying there was no political bias, but did point out 17 glaring errors, omissions, fallacies, lies that the FBI had made against the Trump campaign. They bring into question whether the surveillance should have been launched in the first place. They kept it ongoing whenever it was never justified. And I'll quote from an article from USA Today. The FBI refrained from launching a FISA warrant request until it came into possession of the dossier from Christopher Steele, a former British intelligence agent. The Steele dossier played a central and essential role in the decision by FBI Office of General Counsel to support the request for FISA surveillance targeting. Okay, and the IG found that FBI agents were unable to corroborate any of the specific substantive allegations against Carter Page in the Steele dossier, but the FBI relied on Steele's allegations regardless. In other words, they knew that they knew that Carter Page was innocent, but they continued to monitor him. And by doing so, were able to spy on all of the Trump campaign. You have to understand that the FISA was renewed on 3 other occasions. Well, where Democrats try to hang their hat on there was no political bias, it seems that that's even up for question. And I'm reading now from a Fox News article. U.S. Attorney Durham objects to IG findings on Russia probe origins and stunning statement. Okay, and who is U.S. Attorney Durham? Well, he is the U.S. attorney that's handling the criminal investigation that was predicated by the IG report. And here is the stunning quote. I have the utmost respect for the mission of the Office of Inspector General and the comprehensive work that went into the report prepared by Mr. Horowitz and his staff. Durham said. However, our investigation is not limited to developing information from within component parts of the Justice Department. Our investigation has included developing information from other persons and entities, both in the U.S. and outside the U.S. In other words, he's saying there is political bias. He disagrees with that, and there's more to come. So let's stay tuned for that upcoming investigation. All these reactions to this FISA warrant report are interesting to watch. The initial reaction by former FBI Director James Comey was that he was exonerated. But then as the details of the report came out, he was forced to admit, and this just happened today, he was right. I was wrong. That's what James Comey said. Okay? And I'm reading now from a Business Insider article by Sorum Sheth 4 hours ago. That is this Sunday. And here in some of the some bullets, it says, former FBI Director James Comey acknowledged Sunday that he was wrong to defend the Bureau's use of the FISA process when applying for a warrant to surveil Carter Page. Okay, his statements marked a reversal from last week when he said a Justice Department Inspector General's report on the origin of the Russia investigation exonerated the FBI of wrongdoings. In fact, the report revealed that there were 17 significant errors and omissions in the FISA application involving Page. He was right. I was wrong, he told host Chris Wallace, referring to the Inspector General Michael Horowitz, who wrote the report. I was overconfident as director in our procedures. Overconfident. Now that's a word. You have to understand that this is the same person that took information regarding his conversations with the President of the United States and released them to the press after he was fired. This is the same person that briefed President Trump on the Steele dossier in order to release it as news to the media, saying he'd been briefed on this. That made it news. And that's what got those horrible allegations about President Trump out there to begin with. It was all planned. Oh yeah. Yeah, he was right, I was wrong. I was overconfident. I think the word we're looking for is you're a liar. Okay, well, things are going so poorly, in fact, that we have one representative from southern New Jersey that is a member of the House of Representatives, Democrat, and he wants to switch to red. That's right. His name is Jeff Van Hill, and he's wanting to change from Democrat to Republican, and it says that President Trump thanked him on Twitter, calling Vandrew very smart. And let's look at the polls finally. And I'm looking here at a Fox News poll. All right, it was published 7 hours ago. Trump jobs approval stick up, views on impeachment steady. And that's my hound dog in the background in case you're listening. Weeks of congressional hearing and debate have failed to move the electorate on impeachment, according to the latest Fox News poll. At the same time, approval of President Trump's job performance has climbed 3 points. In other words, more people like the job President Trump is doing because, why? He's doing such a great job. And he is. Well, that's the news for this week. My name's Joe Hines, just your average Joe. I'll catch you later.